Good afternoon, Nerd Fam, and welcome to fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. We're here at Dell Tech World. My name's Savannah Peterson. Very excited to be bringing you this exclusive interview with our friends at AT&T and H2O.ai. Sri and Jen, thank you so much for taking the time. Busy week, I know, but this story is worth telling. Shri's a regular visitor here on the show, so Jen, I'm going to start with you. Tell me a little bit about what you're working on at AT&T and how you ended up collaborating with Sri.
I know you're a member of the Sri fan club.
Definitely.
So am I. So my platform, my team and I run, is called TAO, for Total Access Orchestration, or as Sri has told me, we're now going to also be Tau Agentic Orchestration.
I love this. Branding on the fly, right here.
I know. He's full of great ideas.
He is. Yes.
So our platform has always supported network, voice, and cloud connectivity solutions for AT&T, and of course now we're supporting Gen and agentic AI solutions as well. And that's where Sri and I have gotten to collaborate on how we're going to go to market with solutions for our AT&T customers.
That's awesome. Sri, tell me a little bit about this. We'll move past there. Tell me about this partnership, what you're able to provide for them. I know you're excited about this partnership, and this is our second AT&T chat, so I'm curious to see what's so thrilling about Gen.
So last time we spoke at GTC, and we talked about how we're saving billions of dollars for AT&T as a business. And
wild metrics in that interview. If y'all haven't watched that one, you definitely need to watch that after this one. Yes.
Absolutely, every dollar spent makes multiple dollars for the, and so contact center, call center, how did we use large language models to distill and fine tune a small language model, so call center use cases, ask data use cases, right? So many fraud prevention use cases and how to match customers with the right products. All of that use cases are so powerful for AT&T that we decided how can we partner with AT&T to take it to their customers. And every small medium business which doesn't have the superstars that AT&T has, how can we now bring that together on a compute and a distributed platform which is accessible to them at their venues, on their premises.
Which is amazing. And you're working together in countries all around the world, right?
28 nodes, so Tau is in 28 countries.
Wow.
And it's able to deploy with remarkable speed AI as a service. The other thing that's happening here is AT&T, the maker of originally Bell Labs, right? The maker of C language, the maker of all the innovation we've known, information theory from Shannon, right? All of this led to the great company called AT&T. They built all the fiber, very asset heavy, right?
Yeah.
So how do we make AT&T be asset light? How do you give them the revenue on top of the stack?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how do we use the leverage the incredible data center, the central offices across the board, and start making them really like revenue generators. Not AI is an asset. And how do you make revenue from your data and your AI is going to be the journey ahead. And we talked about this at MWC, where we thought that telcos will now rise up the stack, become digital infracos. Tau is the first example of how AT&T can spin off an incredible service and not just sell GPUs as a service or data centers as a service, but go up the stack and become an AI superpower themselves.
I love I love the term you use there, Sri, of levitating or lifting up, because I think when people think about adopting new technology or upgrading, you're thinking about a weight in terms of cost, in terms of compute, in terms of a lot of different things that can weigh down that transaction, or even upskilling your community to go do this. With y'all working together, AT&T customers now and in the future are going to have an outstanding solution that's going to grow with them.
Absolutely.
Which is pretty powerful.
Absolutely. We're lowering the barrier to entry for our customers. Yeah. Getting them into the game. They don't know where to start with AI. They can't make huge capital investments. So with our partnership and the fact that we've already invested in all of that hardware, all of that infrastructure, all of that fiber, we can get them up and running.
You've done a lot of heavy lifting and to get you ready for this moment, and it makes sense that this is why you're working together. I love that Sri has a tradition for always bringing me a story about AI for good on the show.
Yes.
And you were doing some very powerful work. Tell me about the domestic abuse hotline.
Yes. So we have provided contact center agent services on the Tau platform for contact centers and for domestic abuse hotlines for, gosh, it's been 4 or 5 years now. So when we got to talking to Sri last night, we said, you know what? We actually have an opportunity together to take this to the next level. If we implement agentic AI with sentiment analysis and the ability to do natural language processing, we can actually route those calls, the most urgent and critical calls, faster to the right call center agent.
This is potentially life-saving.
Yes, absolutely.
And so powerful.
Absolutely.
And this is an example of something that's good, but something that can also be replicated across different industries, different verticals.
Oh, absolutely. It's applicable to a number of industries. It's applicable to a number of verticals. It's something that, honestly, like we can generate real revenue with and meet our customers' needs. But for the domestic violence abuse hotline, we don't charge any money for that.
I love that, though. That's
we've provided those services gratis.
I just want to ask you, internally at AT&T, what's the conversation like around that? How do you determine which things you are going to be able to offer for free, or what causes you're passionate about supporting with your technology?
We've had a long history at AT&T of being there for our customers and being there for the community. So our community engagement factor is super high. And so it's easy to bring to the business, to our leaders, hey, these are things that we just have to do because it's the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
And we have, because of our engagement with the federal government, our relationship with FirstNet and our support of that network, we have facilities to do that in ways that not everybody does. So that's a burden of responsibility to deliver to those who need it the most.
Absolutely, I love it, and congratulations on doing that. Thank you for doing that. Thank both of you for doing that. Sri, I got a question for you next. So this has got to be fun for you. I know how passionate you are about doing the right things and using this for good, and our personal ethics are very aligned, you and I. When you're picking your partners to work with, like AT&T, how do you filter for if they're going to be on the level of Sri good when it comes to doing good for the world?
I think there's I was telling that to Jen yesterday, right? Sort of people who are happy naturally attract goodness around them as well, right? Sort of, so there's a divinity in people that you see them very happy.
It's a great point. It's a really good
that
point.
like you like that, and then you like, that's actually the chemistry, right? Sort of you two partners going into a journey. You don't know the ups and downs, so you want to be there with someone you know is going to be there. Build trust quickly, and building one on the other. Like the Tau agentic orchestration that was designed because Jen had a break in her talk. She had 3 breaks in her talk, which is go out, brainstorm, right? That was a great way to bring cross-company cultures. And we are here at Dell. Dell was there helping us. NVIDIA, so Dell, NVIDIA, a host of partner ecosystem. We want to raise a forest, not just a tree.
Yeah.
So you need to try a lot, and some will fail. If you're not failing, we're not trying hard enough, right? So the bringing that kind of like a wide spectrum of reach across AT&T, because within AT&T there's so many competing projects that are running around, and so how do you, like you just spread the kind of 100 seeds and maybe a dozen of them will take off, right? Sort of, and I think that's the kind of mindset of investing into the partnership. And what we found with AT&T specifically is there's so much data, there's so much great talent, and there's so much desire at the highest level. When John Stankey talks about AI, he's talking about how can first responders go to Maui faster and prevent fire, right? Sort of disasters. So FirstNet is a customer of both of us. It's a powerful way to kind of save lives, use AI to kind of, AI has the potential to make the world better.
Yes.
AI has the potential to also accelerate the inequity that we have today, unfortunately,
yes,
right?
Does.
So my vision is to create 1 million billionaires. And that vision for AI, including...
Love this, did not know this was one of your visions. This is a fun add to this
And
interview.
also, by the way, side note, the world needs more women billionaires.
Yes, it does, baby.
To break the equity barrier.
We're on it. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We want to, while there's all this discussion about things, the way to bring equity is to create abundance. And AI can bring that abundance. It's not a zero-sum game. And while the people try to think about us versus open source, us versus that, I think the bigger picture here is intelligence will put light where there's darkness and up-level the entire game for the whole human race. And it's our time to kind of nudge AI movement to do good. And to do that continuously, even if it's very small, inch by inch, we want to direct this high speed, high velocity transformation that's happening towards the greater good of the people, greater good of the planet. And I think that's possible with strong superpowers like, AT&T, the T symbol was the top 10 stocks for a very long time, right?
Yes.
Decades ago.
Yes,
so
it was. I'm an AT&T customer myself.
Our vision is to bring...
Yeah, my pleasure.
Our vision is to bring that back, where a lot of this excitement around innovation that was there in the telcos and banks, of course, to now start using them to become the force multipliers for high-speed innovators like ours. We are the world's most accurate agentic AI, which we announced at your last interview. Now bringing that into TAO, we can now start verticalizing all these agents and co-creating with the customers and solve simple problems, whether for fraud prevention or scoring a lead better or creating better content, helping associates sell better in stores, right? Sort of helping companies treat their makers better, their employees better. Right? Sort of all of that inward, outward, and innovation-wise, all three use cases for every small, medium business, we can now offer through this joint partnership.
It makes so much, I'm just sitting over here smiling because it makes so much sense because, AT&T is literally everywhere. And millions of customers and you're best in breed, best in class. And so combining forces, there's so many awesome things that you can do. The possibilities are truly infinite. So I got to ask, what are you all working on deploying next? Go for it, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you. So right now, we are working together on deploying some agents that can be used for small and medium business. Yes. We're trying to go, there's been a lot of focus on what are we doing in the enterprise,
right?
But we think that the small and medium business is an underserved market. And so...
Preach, louder for the folks in the back. And you know what those small and medium businesses become eventually? Enterprises sometimes.
Yes, they do.
You ignore them when they're small, they're not going to remember that.
Exactly.
They remember that, that's a big deal.
Exactly. So what we're doing is we're offering to them, again, we want to democratize AI so that they can consume it and they can reap those benefits, right? The small, medium business owner has a lot to do, right?
And they're stressed and don't always have the resources to go figure out how to learn and upskill, and having partners or community members like you
exactly
can totally change that game and de-inflate, I guess is the word I would use, the anxiety. Because I think when you're, as a small business owner myself, you're nervous when you're in those environments to make a decision because that could shut down your business.
Absolutely.
You don't have the venture capital or the operating capital that some of these businesses do, and so being able to come in there and say, hey.
Yes.
So what types of things are you building for them?
So what we're doing is we're taking the power of TAO, plus the power of H2O.ai, plus AT&T's connectivity, and we are building completely packaged AI as a service solutions. So the customer has everything in one package. We can go to market and price it in a way that is immediately available to them. They can pay by the drink, they can have an all-you-can-eat consumption package, they can buy this the way that they want to and consume it in a way that makes sense for their business.
It's so thoughtful by design. Sri, did you want to add on there?
I'm going to say that there are 3,000 banks, small, medium banks in America, which don't necessarily have all the fraud prevention or financial crime or cyber risk protection agents today.
Yeah.
They don't have document processing technologies. They get faxes even today. W-2s come in fax, right? Sort of all of that lending that the big banks have. We saw JP Morgan talk about how they're using AI across every sphere. How can a small, medium bank get to that same level of competitiveness when trying to offer those services? And I think that's where this is really going to play out, is if we can take some of the simple ask questions on your customer base, ask questions around who's your most high net worth person on a credit union. Right. Sort of those kinds of topics are very hard to deliver. They don't have the CIOs who can roll out AI. Right. They don't want to upload their data because of regulatory reasons into a ChatGPT, right? So that's why they need Dell and then AT&T and H2O. So that air gap, and they can't spend a lot of money either. So it's, you got to have efficient AI. They don't have billions of dollars to spend, right? So they have to get it almost pre-packaged solution, so that it's a verticalized agent.
It makes so much sense. And it lets those community banks, it lets them do what they're great at, which is being kind to their community members and the folks who bank there and personalizing that service for them rather than wasting time on all the less sexy parts of banking, for example, or those questions.
Absolutely.
Makes a ton of sense. I absolutely love it. Sri and Jen, this has been a joy. I cannot wait to continue to follow the story. Thank you both for all the hard work you do, both on the free side, on the domestic abuse side. They're changing lives and all the future lives you're going to save with everything else that's going on.
Thank you.
And for being one of the largest companies in the world, but still looking out for the little guy.
Thank you.
Main Street appreciates that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, always a pleasure to be here with you both. Yeah, go for it, Sri.
Thank you, Savannah. I was going to say the AI for Good angle, especially domestic violence, it only increased after COVID, and so we want to definitely bring attention to that. Mental health is a side effect of domestic abuse. I think that's a problem we solved before in a bank in Sydney, and so this is one of Jen's team members is in Sydney, Peter, and so he was brainstorming. He heard about that when we open sourced that model AITD with CBA, and I think this would be a fantastic way to kind of use AI to make our families better, our communities better, right? And then from there we can make our countries and the world better. Yeah, thank you.
You're absolutely right, Sri. I'm glad you added that in. And people talk about doing things for good, but y'all are actually doing it. There's a big difference between the doers and the talkers, and this is very much.
Still a lot to do.
We all got a lot of hard work to do, but I'm glad we get to do it together, and I can't wait to continue telling these stories. Thank you guys for taking time. Highlight of my day, y'all. I hope you're as inspired as I am after that fantastic interview with Sri and Jen. We're here in Las Vegas, Nevada at Dell Tech World. My name is Savannah Peterson. You're watching theCUBE, the leading source for enterprise tech news.